success. Good evening everyone and welcome along to EML Premier. We are back live on the Racing TV. We are here tonight for qualifying night. It is Lobby 1 and we are here of course for, first of all, the USA Grand Prix and of course the Belgian Grand Prix as well, or at USA and Belgium, because there's not going to be any Grand Prix held actually tonight. Good evening everyone, my name is James Head. I'm going to be taking to the stream of course as always on this fine Wednesday night, and joining me in the commentary box it is Mr. Alex the G. Alex, how you doing?
Yeah, thank you. I'm doing really well tonight. Yeah, this is 6 teams, of course, in this lobby going head-to-head, and yeah, they will all be decided, or everybody will be competing, of course, to get that one spot in the Premier 1 tier next season. And yeah, I'm seeing some very big talent on this grid, and I'm really excited to get this underway.
Definitely so, indeed. I am literally just giving the guys in the chat, hopefully you can see the chat by the way, if the managers are online and viewing the chat, you can start. It is all fine, we can start now. We had a little bit of an issue, which is why it delayed us a little bit in getting live. You might have seen another stream being set up, but we are now live. Luckily, we are now seeing your comments coming through, which is really good. Hopefully you are all doing well. Hopefully it is going to be a really good night's worth of action, of course, coming into tonight here for qualifying night for 1 spot in Premier 1, and the majority of the spots, of course, going to Premier 2, along with 1 reserve team going to be found out, of course, tonight. And looking, of course, at the graphics, which we would have had if we had OBS tonight, which I'm now getting up frantically on my iPad just to try and run you through everything that is going to happen tonight. In Lobby 1, we have BNL Racing, Juventus Racing, IRT Esports, VER or Virtual Esports, CPI Esports, and QRT Esports. And Alex, I'm going to come straight across to you because we are getting into the 30 minutes of qualifying. What are we expecting from these 6 teams tonight in Lobby 1?
Well, very open question, first of all. I'm thinking, yeah, there's going to be some pretty... probably high 32 lap times, maybe even quicker, but realistically speaking we do have some pretty strong teams in here, and I feel like I'm probably looking at the Juventus Racing team in particular. They've only really come onto the scene fairly recently and already have proven to have some really strong drivers, so yeah, there's a lot to look out for I think in general with all these teams on the grid. But yeah, 30 minutes for everybody to set as quick lap times as they can. This is going to be really interesting.
It is going to be really interesting indeed. It is the same format, of course, that we followed for qualifying night for Season 3 as well. So it is the same format. If you're not used to the format, it is basically 30 minutes worth of practice. The one-shot qualifying and the 25% race is just a little bit of a given that we're going to be saying to the drivers retire at the end of this practice session. And then at the end of this 30 minutes, of course, all the times will be calculated to form an average time. Therefore, alongside Lobby 2, of course, it will form an average leaderboard of the 12 teams that are going to be competing, of course, tonight. If you are, by the way, a Lobby 2 manager or supporting the guys in Lobby 2, I can tell you that Lobby 2 stream is going to be live very soon indeed, and in that lobby we have got Victus Racing Team, Teamers 1, Trust Esports, X Esports, Red Dragon and Elite Racing Team are the ones in Lobby 2. So if you are complaining and saying where's the Lobby 2 stream, it'll be live very shortly indeed. We are live here though for Lobby 1 action, qualifying night getting underway, and the first man out on track is Bradders, who I think from our perspective, Alex, is somebody that we've never commentated on before, so we don't know what to expect.
Yes, indeed. The only thing I've really heard about him is that he is indeed a PSGL F6 winner this season, and I know that because I have some contacts in NLR, because, yeah, one driver in there is racing in that tier, and I've seen Bradders win that race in Bahrain, I believe, in PSGL. But other than that, really not a driver that's been too known across the scene, So in general, this is going to be really interesting as to where he can rank among some of these top drivers in that Alpine, of course. And yeah, as he invalidates that outlap, it's going to be a very, very tricky spot this turn. Is that turn 11? Turn 11? Turn 12?
Turn 12.
Yeah, turn 12 it is. Track limits, let's say, aren't enforced in a very good way in this game, in this particular corner. Yeah, this is going to be possibly a little make or break session as to whether some of these teams can qualify. So, really, really interesting stuff.
Definitely so, indeed. We are now getting going, of course, for qualifying night for EML Premier, the first qualifying spot for Lobby 1, of course, and then, of course, for Premier 2 a little bit later on as well. But Bradders is starting up on a lap, of course. Bradders part of what was, I think, the QRT team. Baki and Max, of course, are representing them guys as well here tonight. Bradders is the first man on track, coming through the right-hander of turn number 2. And then through the S section that mirrors Maggots and Beckett, or the Japan S's section as well. Through 3, 4, 5, and then through the right-hander of turn number 6, into the left-hander of turn number 7. He's got a car right on the way through the first sector, but a 25.2 through the first sector is not bad at all. As he comes now through the left-hander of turn number 9, up the hill, famously, the Top Gun Charles Leclerc in 2022. That is weird to say. In 2022, it's 2023 now. Happy New Year, by the way. Brothers on the run through turn 11. Oh, a bit squirrely, actually, on the exit there of turn 11. Now on the run down the hill in towards turn number 12, which is this really heavy braking point. And this is one that is going to catch quite a few drivers out. I am absolutely guaranteed to, as he just backs off on the throttle there, just hopping over the curb. Just lost him a bit of speed there, but Brothers now coming through the middle sector. Not looking too bad is the PSGL F5 drivers. He comes through the middle sector with a 103 flat combined in that middle sector. So looking really good. We'll go forward with him now, coming to the left-hander of turn number 15. And then, famously, Max Verstappen corner at 16, 17 and 18. And again, really catching the snappy oversteer there. He's in the Alpine, of course. There are drivers in the same team in different cars as well, because you can't have basically three drivers within the same team on Formula 1. Bradders, though, has looked good on this lap. He's coming through the left-hander of turn 20 now, through the final corner, on the run to the line. And it's a 1:34 flat to begin off the night. And that, to be honest, for bog standard time, is not too bad.
Indeed, as a banker, you can be really happy with that. As that is a Ferrari behind the Ferrari of Darrell Smith now, with a 34.8, but 33.9 by Baki, immediately actually beaten by IRTC in the Red Bull. So 33.8, we're into the 33s now, as his teammate Boompia there with a 34.9. Yeah, these times are going to be varying probably, or differing by quite a bit, particularly at the start of this session. People just want to get lap times down. VR Jet with a 35 dead, and Victor there for QRT with a 35.1 currently propping up that field. Nathan has gone into 4th in between for the ART teams. QRT Max 33.3. Now that is a banker. Wow, 33.3. That is almost half a second clear of anybody in this grid right now.
Yeah, banker and a half. I was going to say maybe he got a little bit of slipstream on that lap, but his teammate's on the other side of the track, and that's Toyin, of course, in the BNLRE team. Of course, he's part of that BNLRE team. Max isn't, so they're both in the same car. It is very difficult if you haven't got the driver lineup in front of you to try and follow. We'll try and run as best as we can as we go along, because it's even confusing for me looking on the left-hand side of my screen. Max, though, out on top. Sieb in second. Baki there in third. And Max's lap time, to be honest, a 33.3. Really, really good indeed. Of course, this is a 30-minute practice session, so drivers and teams especially that are wasting their time going on that set of medium, going on that set of hard compound tyre, they're going to be found out, I think, towards the end of the session. And the more time you get on that set of soft compound tyre, the more likely you are to try and put your best lap time in. And that's why I'm actually surprised a bit, Alex, why Dower, Victor and Toyin have all gone for a set of mediums.
Yeah, it's really all down to the driver's adaptability now to these different tyre compounds. As I'm seeing, yeah, Toyin there on board who just cuts across that F section. Really tough section in general to get right. But yeah, this is really about how well the drivers can get used to these different tyre compounds. If they do choose to run that strategy, is I believe behind there, P5 really close to that wall. That looked very, very dodgy to me.
Twist, by the way, to the line, 34.5 has just taken the widest track limits I think I've ever seen at the Circuit of the Americas track. 34.5, you went beyond the white line and more, beyond the sausage curb, still a valid lap. Hopefully it gets taken off, because I have a feeling that lap time will be taken off by the stewards. 34.5 in 7th ahead of Darren Smith there. Correcting myself, by the way, Mike DePricker, very good name, by the way. I normally reference that on F2 for PSGL. He has said Max is driving for Juventus. So Max, Backy and Bradders all driving for Juventus Racing. And to be honest, looking so far, the first, third and fourth.
Yeah, that's definitely the strongest team so far. Juventus, up and coming at the moment. They are they've only been established quite recently, and yeah, very very strong starting performance there. Having 3 drivers in the top 4, only Sieb in between there in that IRT team for Red Bull. I'm seeing on board right now, El Shaikh is actually on the hard compound tires. I don't know what kind of business he's trying to go about here, but if he's just trying to get used to the track, it's going to be, I suppose, a strategy of any tire now will give you just more grip, as that is a hard right now around in that turn, what's that, 17, 18, there we go.
Yeah, it might have been Kaveski, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, indeed. Looks like, yeah, he's straight into the pit lane again. That's for the VR team, I believe, as teammate of VR Hein, who's currently in P5. Leighton currently heading into turn 1. See on board with the Aston Martin driver. I believe he's gone to no assist relatively recently, but in the end, being picked for this session, will have to put in a lot of practice to see what kind of lap time he can muster up here with a 25.6, and that looks very, very tentative there on the steering input. Yeah, you can clearly see that is some big inexperience there going on from the no assist side, but also Kota is known as a track which is particularly difficult on the no assist front, which I have also experienced myself. It's a really, really tough one to get right, and in particular, you'd obviously for a race you'd highlight these passing sections, but this obviously doesn't matter. You now have to look at all those corners to maximize those. Therefore, yeah, this is definitely not the ideal situation for some of these drivers, particularly, as I said, I'm looking at Leighton now. Middle sector with a 3.7. We've seen much quicker than that. Yeah, it's certainly a very tough time for some of these drivers to get used to that.
Yeah, definitely. So Leighton coming through turn 15, he looked a lot more on it, I've got to say, through that middle sector compared to his first sectors. Looked quite good. He's around about, what, 6 tenths per second off, I think, on Bradders. So expect this to be around the 34.6 mark, I think, in terms of lap. As Bunty has been disqualified for blocking the pit lane. Not a great thing to do. Leighton, by the way, on the run to the line. Oh, a tenth off, 34.7. He went, though, between Twist and Dara, exactly where I expected him to. Leighton there in 8th position, going beyond Dara Smith, who is on lap, and he's a tenth and a half up out of the first sector, 25.3. And he, leading candidate, of course, for TML F1, potentially, as we look towards the TML season, which starts, of course, next week on the channel. And the Irishman, once he has got good pace, this man will fly, quite literally. And Dara, I honestly would have expected him to be much further up than what he is at the minute, but this is now a lap to savour through the middle sector, 102.9, that's more like it.
Indeed, that is a very, very strong middle sector there, but now, it's squirmy there on the throttle in between these two corners, but now it's all about the exit and how much speed he can carry through this long turn 18 right-hander. Of course, resembles the Istanbul turn 8 to some degree, and yeah, he does take it pretty well. Not much speed scrubbed off there. Now turn 19, very, very tricky corner to get right. Now turn 20. It's pretty much all by feeling, really, this final sector, and this is what makes this track so difficult. But Dara Smith there into P2, still almost 4 tenths behind the leading driver of JR Max, so really strong bank of that. And Max is in fact currently on a lap, unless that's his out lap.
No, invalid.
It does happen sometimes. Yes, it is indeed also invalid. So no lap time set from JR Max at the moment, but he's still holding such a clear lead at the moment. And yeah, with both of his teammates in the top 5, doesn't look endangered right now for the JR team.
Yeah, definitely so. Sieb, by the way, is still in the pit lane. Backy, by the way, has just gone 4th as well. Victor there has gone 5th as well, so he's actually split the Alpines there in 4th and 6th position. Victor there, of course, part of the QRT team. He is a real member of the QRT team, unlike some that are trying to be fake members, or former members, we should say, of the QRT team. In Max, of course, he is part of Juventus Racing. He's currently out on top. Dara Smith there in 2nd. I will get my list up, by the way, on the right-hand side of me, just so I'm confirming the right drivers and the right teams. Dara is a part, of course, of QRT alongside Twist, and Victor is the other one, of course. So Max being the exception rather than the rule. Apparently, there was a comment that I saw, certainly, saying Max apparently can't afford to change his PSN name, which is not the best thing, especially for an up-and-coming team.
Oh, I've just seen the big slipstream there picked up from QRT Twist, however. I don't know how well that attempt's really gone. 102.9 there in the middle sector. It is purple according to the game, though we never know about the correctness of that. However, yeah, into this final sector now. Alpine lets him go very cleanly there. Into this turn 18 long right-hander. A bit wider maybe than what his teammate Argov Smith was. But now into turn 19. Looks pretty strong, keeps within those white lines. Also on the entry of turn 20, the final corner, now the final traction zone. Twist, this might be a good lap, you know. P2 indeed, 2 and 3 for the QRT team. And if you were to go by the names, in fact, it would be a 1, 2 and 3. But yeah, as we have said earlier, of course, only 2 and 3, because 1 is still JR Max. It's incredible what he's managed to produce on this banker. He still hasn't gone out since, I believe only once, and on an invalidated lap time. So, super strong from him. He's looking really safe there. And his teammates are trying to follow that up eventually, though not at the moment. Brado's in the pit lane at the moment.
Oh.
Backy on an inbound lap. In-lap, actually.
When I make that reaction, by the way, it normally means something good, and it is in this case, because Gaveski is on a very good lap, a 102.4 in the middle sector combined. He is purple out of everyone at this point. The Hassman coming to the right hand for 16, 17, and 18. That's Florian, by the way, who was spun on the left-hand side of the track coming through that corner. But Gaveski really close to the track limits through here. The track limits, by the way, are unstrict. He comes through the final corner on the run to the line, and Gaveski goes second. Good lap time by Gaveski. Very good lap time indeed. Part of the VER team, of course, and Kaveski there in second. That was his first lap ever. First lap ever in this session, and a 133.4. He is bound to go into the 32s later on in the session.
Definitely, you'd think so. For a banker lap and this late into the session, super strong from him. He's not had any running so far, and therefore only 200s behind that leading JR driver. Looking really, really promising. I'm on board again now with El Shaikh, who's currently still on the mediums. I don't know when he's planning to get those softs out, because there is no limit to that, as he just invalidates there on the entry of turn 19. It's really easy to do, actually, as you kind of have to look left, and yeah, the reference is on the right-hand side. It's super, super tough to actually get that right properly, and yeah, he's fallen foul of that one. Let's see, Nathan currently invalid there in this last corner, probably now starting a new lap. Yeah, there's still some really quick drivers probably coming up. Sieb, I believe, now through the turn 10 hairpin and heading onto the straight out. It's a definite slipstream attempt there. I believe that is Boomki ahead. He's now giving him a massive tow down this back straight. Yes, indeed he is. So let's have a look now. Sieb, how well can he make use of this? Already 2 tenths up in the first sector, but I don't think he's picked up that same tow on his first lap. And now, through this middle sector, he's actually lost a little bit of time, so can't have been too ideal what he's done in the middle part of that lap. But now into these final bits, now the long right-hander. Yeah, let's see what the Red Bull man could do. That could well be a good lap if he manages to improve enough in this last sector.
Yeah, 33.8, so certainly on his lap. I thought, honestly, the slipstream effect that happened there with Bumye, I honestly thought that was a little bit half-hearted, to be honest, and hopefully they can improve that as the session goes on. Still a good lap, though, by Sebi. Made that time up eventually in that final sector. 33.6 indeed from the Red Bull man. Dara's on a lap. I think Max is on a lap as well. And Max is actually 200ths down through the end of the first sector. So the former QRT man, part of Juventus Racing now, hopping over the bumps there in towards the turn number 12, the left-hander. This is a good middle sector. 102.5. Not purple compared to Kaversky, though, in the middle sector. This has got to be a big final sector, though, from Max. He's currently on 133.3. Currently, Juventus Racing hold 1st, 6th and 8th, with Brothers and Backy not getting improvements on their lap times, by the way. So they are still yet to improve on a fresh set of soft compound tyres. So Max now needs to put this all on the line in the Mercedes, coming to the final couple of corners, and invalidates. Didn't get away with it like what Twist did, I think it was, a couple of laps ago, but Max there, 33.3, back in the pit lane, he invalidates.
So unfortunate for him. It looked like a really, really strong lap, and you have to say, it was the banker lap. It was the first lap of his session, right at the start, so there must have been a lot of grip left in that final sector, so really unlucky for him to lose out on that. Ben Dennis, meanwhile, I believe, is now the next driver to cross the line. So the middle sector really didn't look that impressive. I believe Ben might well be one of the weaker teams across the 12 teams that will be participating. At only 11th, yeah, 34.7 for the Williams driver. And with his teammates in 15th and 16th, it's not looking very good for them. El Shaikh, I believe, is also not on a quick lap right now. Soon, however, yes, he is. There were 25.7 in that first sector. It's really not looking that good for Ben. They might have to settle for the Premier 2 slot in the end. But, I mean, we'll find that out, of course, over time. So this Brad is now crossing the line, P7, but only really a minor improvement in position. P9 to P7, that is. So still P1, P7, P8 for the JR team. Still looking good, but it certainly could be looking better, as he did weave slightly down that straight in frustration. So he knows there's more time in that lap for himself to lift himself off P7, maybe head into that top 5 or even near his teammate.
Yeah, definitely so. BIEC, by the way, is just invalidated on his lap. He's now on a proper lap now, but his invalid lap time, as he set to 25.4 first sector, was a 133.400, so he would have went second! He's not going second with that, though, coming out of turn number 10.
Oh, massive snap of oversteer there on the exit. It's a really tough acceleration zone, this. Of course, up the hill, the car goes super light in that spot. And now, Brad is he trying to give a tow to his teammate? I believe that is a slight tow attempt. That's pretty far down the straight already. I don't think that's going to be too much of an effect from it. But either way, we're going to see turn 12 now cuts that too much, unfortunately, and that is an invalidation. As QRT Twist, meanwhile, 2/10 clear of anyone, goes fastest.
Twist now shaking to the top step of the leaderboard at this stage, with still 10 minutes to go. That's the first of many puns, by the way, tonight. Twist out on top for Max in second, Kaveski in third, Dara there in fourth. He just invalidated coming through the final couple of corners, was on a good lap up until that point. So Dara there in fourth, Sieb there in fifth, Hein in sixth. Brothers, as you say, is invalidated on his lap, so he's coming, I think, back into the pit lane. Same with BIEC, so both the Alpines are in. Anybody on a lap? I think V or Jet might be on a lap. He's coming into the final couple of corners in the Alpha Tauri, looking to try and come across the line, and he will improve 34.2. Made up a lot of time in that final sector, so Jet there going 10th, and actually he's got a comfortable margin to try and gain on, compared to his teammate, of course, in Victor.
Indeed, yes, that is it's a pretty big, pretty sizable gap there in that middle of the pack, but really was to be expected. I'm seeing some drivers here who are just, maybe not up to the task just yet. In general, the CPI team seem to be relatively weak. Of course, that disqualification there for Bunty doesn't help either. As Toy and the Kib, I believe, currently on a lap. No, he goes into the pit lane. So Delta was displayed incorrectly, I believe. Nathan is currently coming towards the second to last corner. We've also got Sieb now crossing the line. He's now starting this lap. Telemetry is so confusing. I don't get this.
Yeah, Nathan's exactly the same. I'm on board with him through the final corner. Yeah, he's exactly the same. He's on a 3-minute lap time. That's how you can indicate where drivers are not on a lap. Sieb, though, is on a lap. He's coming through the first sector. He is ahead of his teammate. So, by the way, if Sieb actually invalidates on his lap, there's a good chance he can actually give Nathan a bit of slipstream. Nathan was one of my favourites, certainly for the top step coming into tonight in Lobby 1. So Nathan has got to try and put in a good performance. Sieb, though, through the first sector, not too bad. He's 500 up out of the first sector. Now coming down the hill out of turn 10 and into the left-hander of turn number 11. Twist out on top, Max in second, Kaveski in third with 9 minutes to go currently in this session. CPI Chris, by the way, and Killcree, by the way, also saying about the WR PSGL event that's going on at this stage. 4 wide in the final corner and 3 wide to the final sector in Bahrain. Oh, how I'd love to be commentating on that right now.
Oh my word, well, that sounds very, very intriguing, let's say that. Status invalidation there for Sieb. A bit too late maybe for Nathan's liking, if you will. As you've elaborated on earlier. Only a 3,000th improvement. I mean, these are the kinds of margins that we're looking at here. So, meanwhile, Nathan also invalidated. So, yeah, that's obviously not the best look there for the IRT team.
Definitely not. Max is on lap as well, just preparing for lap. Somebody's just absolutely butchered. Max, that was you, butchering turn 19. You've just seen something as well in the background, I think.
It's the exact same thing, I believe, yeah. He just tried to move out the way there, very, very frantically, you could say, but yeah, that's obviously not what you want to see in these kinds of scenarios, yeah.
I mean, there's still 8 minutes to go in the session, and he had to try and rush because these set of soft compound tyres take 1 lap to really get up the temperature, then they come in for a lap, and then you've got your down lap basically to do as well. So Max is running out of time, and that's why he's pushing the limits. Speaking of pushing the limits, by the way, Dara Smith, purple out of everyone in the first sector, 25.3 in that first sector from Dara. The Irishman has had very good form. As soon as I say that, invalidates.
Well, classic case of commentator's curse, I would say, yeah. Very unlucky, yeah. 25-3, it's a super strong first sector, and I'm sure, yeah, QRT Twist ahead of him would have been very ready to give that slipstream to his teammate. But of course, now that will not come into fruition, unfortunately, for the QRT team. Anybody else right now on the lap? I can see VR Hein currently heading through that same part of the racetrack, now heading into turn 10, though I haven't seen his sector time. So let's have a look at what the VR driver can now muster up here on this back straight. There is nobody ahead, I believe, to give a slipstream to, yeah, Williams now, moving out of the way. So he's pretty much on his own, currently in P6, so strong lap time. His teammate Kowarski currently the highest of the VR drivers in P3. That does not look like the best apex to turn 12 there, and he is down by 2/10 on his lap right now, so not the improvement, not the kind of lap that you maybe would have wanted, yeah.
Yeah, maybe he got a bit of slipstream maybe on his first lap, and that's why he's not improving on this one, potentially. Bunty, by the way, has just flipped up there on my bottom left-hand side of your screen. Good evening, Bunty, by the way. Good blocking the pit lane down in the back of the field where CPI don't really belong. Leighton and Florian 12th and 16th as well. Hein, by the way, is invalidated. He's into the pit lane. Bradders is preparing up for a lap as well, as is Twist, who I think has just started on one through the first sector. We'll see what his first sector is. Twist's first sector is 25.4, so not too bad, and he invalidates through turn 8.
Looks like a bit of a theme right now for the QRT team, as always starting their laps up pretty well, but then unfortunately that invalidation, it's so easy to make these kinds of mistakes at this Circuit of the Americas. I can currently see Bradders, who's also started this lap, started the session of course pretty strong with a first place banker, but that was I believe also the first lap of the session, so let's see his first sector now. It's a 25-3 as well, so a very good start to the lap here. And now up this hill, now very careful with traction, and he gets that down really well, uses up most of the track, and now that exit curve is looking very handy indeed. And now good apex through here as well, and the slipstream is being prepared by his teammate Vaki, so this is looking really good for Bradders, isn't it?
Yeah, this is absolutely perfect. His first sector, I've never seen somebody just feather the throttle coming through turn 7. Takes a world-class driver to do that. Bradders might just be that man as he comes into the left-hander of turn number 12. Bit too deep though on the brakes, into the middle sector. 102.9 is not too bad. It's purple out of him compared to his comparison of a 33.8, so he's up on that time. But Bradders has got to try and find something now in this final sector. 33.8 currently his personal best. He's got Hein potentially up there to try and grab as well, along with Seb and Dara. I think them are the three he's going to be aiming at, I think, at this point in the session with 4.5 minutes to go. Twist, Max and Kowarski, the top three, is Bradders now through the final couple of corners. This has looked picture perfect. I thought this was a perfect lap from Bradders on the run toward the line, and it's nearly a perfect lap because the 33.6 puts him just ahead of Seb by 2 thousandths. Indeed,
the gaps there. General Sadar Smith only another 1.5 hundredths ahead of that Alpine driver, so really tight gaps there. P4 to P6. Currently the one driver to look out for is QRT Max now starting his lap. Of course this is a little bit confusing in fact, because with these practice sessions you do go into hot lap mode as well, but you do have the overtake mode at your disposal as well. I've just seen that exiting the final corner because it actually hasn't entered my head at all that you could technically just use overtake. As now through this first sector, everything here is really done by feeling. There's no reference point, it's just throw the car in, hope it sticks, and hope that it's fast. And as you can see, 25-2 from QRT Max, a super strong first sector. And he's looking to build on this through the remainder of this lap. A super quick driver, but will he be able to extract the full performance out of that Mercedes car? We are about to find out as he heads onto the back straight.
Tato, by the way, saying, is Alex here in the studio? Alex, I do believe, is here in the studio. Hopefully you can hear him on the stream. That's what is making me worried a little bit. But Max is on the lap in the meantime, coming through the middle sector. This has looked quite good, actually, for Max, of course, formerly of QRT, now part of Juventus Racing, coming through the middle sector, and he's putting on a Serie A performance through the middle sector, 102.5.
Indeed, 102.5. He's lost, I believe, a slight amount of time there on the exit of 12. But it still looks like a really good lap time at the moment. But yeah, now this last sector is where it all comes down. Oh, that is a lot of curb. He must have corrected that in the end, surely. As now turn 19, using up all the track on the exit. It's looking good still. Wow, that is on the white line. It's almost past the white line there on the entry. But QRT Max, he doesn't go top, in fact. 700s behind Twist. But really strong lap still. He probably could have gone a bit quicker. But still, this is more or less what a lap really should look like around this circuit of the Americas. As Koberski, just seeing that, is currently on an invalid lap, and so is Hein, unless he's starting a lap.
Both? So, no, I think both Hasses have actually run out of fuel, I think.
Oh.
Have they? Or was am I just looking at myself? Koberski is now speeded up. No, he's run out of fuel. Koberski has run out of fuel. Hein is preparing up for a lap, so I might be blind as well as thick, I think.
Well, here we go. We can see the overtake mode being in action there slightly down this pit straight. Now, apex of turn 1. It's looking pretty clean there for Hein. It's a very, very difficult reference point there. Usually you break past that black box on the right. It's really, really tough to actually get it right, however. And now 6th gear down to 5th gear for a moment, but then going back up to 6th. Another 25-2. So some really strong sector splits here in that sector 1, but really struggling on the traction. I believe also on the turn-in a little bit. It was a bit understeery through that final part of the S. Let's see what this turn 10 is going to look like. Using up all the track there on the exit, there's a lot of traction to find on this part, as a Ferrari now letting the Haas through. But turn 12 now going to be extremely important, using up all the track on the entry to the corner as well. Around the unreachable does go slightly deep into the corner, but that sector split only slightly improving now. So some time has been lost throughout the course of this lap. And now this, really wide through there. He's either sizing up a really good exit now, or he's actually just misjudged the entry ever so slightly. But now through turn 18, turn 19, a Ferrari on the inside is never ideal. That is Victor out of the session, really wide for Hein. I really hope that actually won't go towards his lap then, because that was extremely wide. How has he even got away with that, honestly? That is the main question. 4th place at the moment, but I'm not sure about the validity of this lap as so almost impeding QRT Twist, I believe that is.
Yeah, it was QRT Twist, I think. He actually impeded, I think, on Hein as well. So Twist there really getting away with it, I think, for now. 33.1 though, session has ended. Max, Kowerski, Bradders, Backy, Dennis and Toyne, and Florian, I should say, are all done. Twist 25-4 in the first sector. Dara Smith is on the lap, 25-2. First sector from Dara Smith. The QRT man is flying. As long as he can get this part right, coming out of turn 9, which he does, this is looking like a very good lap from the QRT man. Twist is now backed off his lap, so he can get the full operation on that slipstream. And this is what Dara Smith is good at, of course, with this slipstream. Looking good so far on this lap. The TML F1 potential driver, as Leighton has retired from the session, coming out of turn number 18, that is. Dara Smith, I think that was a bit poorly timed there from the QRT boys. Fish went a little bit early. Dara, unfortunately, couldn't catch back up, and then he caught back up very quick. Doesn't matter. 102.3 in the middle sector is huge from Dara. This is now comparing to Twist in terms of his middle sector. This is a huge lap from the Irishman into the final couple of corners, through turn 15, into the right-hander turn 16, 17, and 18. Twist out on top for Max in second, Kowerski there in third. Dara is coming through the final couple of corners. This is huge. If he can put these final two corners together, this, I think, is going to be the top lap time of the session. Dara on the run through the final corner, on the run toward the line, and it's easy. It's out of the park. It's a 33 flat in the end from Dara Smith. That is the man, the myth, the legend, the GOAT, I think, of the QRT team. Darragh Smith out on top. Twist there in second. Hein, I think, is on the lap, but he's actually invalidated. So that is the end of the session as Hein goes off track in complete and utter bizarre fashion. But Darragh, they're out on top. Twist in second. Max in third. If only Max was a QRT member, it would have been a QRT 1, 2, 3, but it isn't. But it's Darragh on top, Twist in second. QRT looking very good at the end of lobby, at the end of the first qualifying session, lobby 1, with Belgium, of course, still to come.
Super strong, yeah, and I feel like obviously this 1-2 is going to really help the prospect of this QRT team. But after all, you still have to deliver in this second session, as here we see the full results. I believe one team that maybe would have wanted to do a little better here is the JR team. Of course, Max is in third, but 7th and 10th only for the other two drivers. I think they could definitely be much higher on the pace perspective. But realistically speaking, yeah, the second lobby is going to be really crucial in this. We've got the long chemistry, we've got multiple opportunities there really to pull off a big slipstream. So really curious as to how that will play out in a tactical perspective as well.
Definitely so, yeah. Darragh out on top, Twist in second, Max in third. What you're about to see, by the way, is hopefully drivers retiring in one-shot qualifying and hopefully drivers retiring in the race as well. If we had OBS set up, then obviously I would just flick to a different screen and show you some fancy graphic, I think, at this point. But unfortunately, because we're streaming on PS4, that means that you are going to have to see every single person retiring, and then we can go, of course, into the second lobby. I have selected Belgium as the second track, by the way. I think I've selected Belgium as the second track. I hope I haven't put it as anything else. But we are Belgium's second track. We should be coming up very soon indeed. Tato, by the way, saying in the chat as well, he's struggling to listen to the PSGL versus WR stream, your stream, some Jeddah reference hot laps, and analysing Dean's drive at the same time. But now back with your stream. I'm liking that. I'm liking the commitment, but please do only one thing at a time, because you're going to overwork yourself, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very well-known fact that this is a very hard-working man, and yeah, I mean, it's very admirable, I will say. So let's see now, everybody retiring. We've only got 7 drivers left at this stage. Yeah, it's gone really quick. So fair play to the drivers. Only 2 left, as Florian now the last one, I believe. Yeah, he just wants to take that pole position for himself, I think.
He does. If he retires there, he'd be fine, because Darragh Smith retired about 100 yards just down the hill slightly. So yeah, Florian does take pole position, apparently, according to us anyways. But yeah, obviously we will get into the second stream very soon indeed. Mike saying 1:43's average. It's Dennis out on top. So Dennis actually, with the gap being, well, non-existent to everyone else, it seems, on the right-hand side there. Mike, by the way, with a bit of reference, because Lobby 2 have already done Belgium, and their transition, of course, into America now. I've been Mike saying 1:43's Lobby 2 average. That's a bit of info. 42's the top lap times. So if that's anything to go by, Alex, and judging off Mike's opinion there, we should see mid to low 1:42's potentially here in Lobby 1 for Belgium.
Definitely, some of the drivers are surely capable of doing this, and with the help of Slipstream, it's only going to be accelerating this effect. So now let's quickly hope that, of course, the USA DNFs will be going pretty quickly and get straight into this. And I'm really curious, actually, to see some of these laps unfold. Track limits aren't too much of an issue at Spa, I would say, personally. So yeah, this should really be one of these proper qualifying tracks where the driver's skill will really be ahead or above anything else. And yeah, I'm really excited, particularly Spa, of course, one of the best racetracks in the world. So to see these drivers going head to head, all guns blazing, it's going to be incredible. As now the 5 red lights are going out, and let's see how many are already out. Oh, here we go. Here we go. The drive-through penalties are already coming in.
Oh, no.
Oh my word.
Pure and utter chaos. This is something that you don't see. Oh, and there's a right take out there from Hines. Yeah, this is just funny, I think, to commentate on. Somebody has got ahead, though. That is, I think, Max's AI, who's retired. There's a pile up through turn number 1. Everyone is now retiring. It's Florian, apparently, that leads. Dennis in second, Victor in third. Hopefully, we will get to the end of this, whatever debacle is going on track, very soon indeed.
Yeah. This is peak League Racing TV content right here. This is the right way to start the year out, I'd say.
Commentless, by the way, who's my co-commentator, of course, in WOR, or was formerly co-commentator in WOR Season 13, saying, just looks like a normal league race. I agree. I totally agree. Absolutely.
Yep. There's nothing much more to add to that statement, and yeah. I think we've all made our experiences in lobbies, and I mean, this is not far off what you usually see in racing. So here we are. What are the full results saying about that? Will we actually get a podium? Oh, we will. Oh my word. There we go.
So
we're up for a quick laugh, aren't we?
To the top step of the podium, skipping his way all the way to the top. We may as well commentate on it because we've got nothing else better to do, I think, at this point. Victor is the winner of the American Grand Prix, probably his first league racing victory of 2023, and what a way to get it, retiring on the first lap.
It's incredible scenes, yeah. I'm currently doubting as to how on earth Bunty's got a 10-second penalty out of this, and how it technically, when looking at the gaps, should actually be helping him. As that gap is negative, just saying. Yeah, but the gaps are nothing really to take note of in this particular scenario. I mean, we have a driver 6.5 seconds ahead, and then a driver a second ahead, so let's not take note of this too quickly. Just 15 more seconds, and then we can finally indulge in something serious again. Yeah,
hopefully so. I've gone black screen with please wait on the top, so hopefully the timer's counting down on your end and then it'll just kick in. There we are, it's just kicked in.
Yep.
So Victor apparently wins by 6.4 seconds, I think I saw there on the right hand side. 8 tenths per second down, I think, was Bunty, who was in a negative compared to everyone else. So yeah, but at least, I'm hoping we're not going to go back into the lobby. I hope that we are... Actually, no, we are going to go back into the lobby, aren't we? Because the drivers are going to have to ready up, aren't we? Aren't they? I think.
Yes. I believe they are, yes. But I mean, that should go relatively quickly.
There we are, we're in. We are back in. So drivers now can, as Victor's picked up 25 points on his league racing tally for 2023, we can ready up straight away. Everyone's still in. Don't think there's any changes that need to be done from driver point of view, so we can go straight away as long as the drivers are happy. I am happy. We can go straight away, and hopefully it is going to be really good. In terms of Belgium, of course, it is 30 minutes race, of course, and Belgium, of course, is going to be featuring, I believe, on the calendar for season number 4 of EML. Now, I'm going to have to look at this just to confirm it right. Belgium, in fact, is not. It's not, so that's why we're using it as a qualified night track, which is good. But if you've noticed, in terms of EML and TML, the calendars are pretty much very closely monitored together and moulded together so that drivers can practice, of course, on Tuesday for EML. Then they race, of course, EML on Wednesday, and then they've got TML, same track pretty much, on Thursday. So I think it's really nice for the likes of the likes of some of the drivers that are going to be in TML, for example. They are going to have a real rich experience. I believe PSGL are running a couple of rounds on the same calendar as well. Bahrain, by the way, first round of the championship, 11th of January, Jeddah 18th of January, and then Imola on the 25th of Jan, Barcelona on the 1st of Feb, Austria on the 8th of Feb, France on the 22nd, there's a break week right in between, France on the 22nd of February, then Netherlands for the 1st of March, Singapore for the 8th of March, and then another break week, and then it's Austin for 22nd of March, and then we end off in everyone's favourite track, Brazil.
Brazil, indeed. Always serves up for a great season finale, but I mean, starting out from the desert, heading into various pieces of this world. Of course, some brilliant tracks in between that, then ending off at the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache. I mean, well, what better way to end the season? It's really exciting to see this calendar moving ahead. And yeah, for now, heading to Spa, as you said, even if it's not on the calendar, we're still featuring it here. And I mean, what a joy it is to go to Spa every single time we go racing here, or even just chasing the lap times, arguably even more impressive. So really looking forward to seeing the drivers push to the maximum at this beautiful racetrack.
Definitely so, and Baki is the first man out on track, of course part of the Juventus Racing team. I believe he was first on track as well in America, so congratulations to him on getting the James Head Award of 2023 for being first out on track at every track in EML qualifying night. But Baki is the first man out on track. Baki, by the way, a little bit of fact about him. I believe he was formerly a KVR member before he actually joined Juventus Racing. Recently joining Juventus Racing, of course, in the last couple of weeks. Here at Belgium, hopefully going to be delivering well. He's on that sort of soft compound attire. How do you think he'll feature here tonight in Belgium?
I think in general, Juventus Racing got a really good policy of signing drivers. They all have extremely good potential, and so feel like the pole might well be able to perform really well in this session, particularly Spa. I mean, it's everyone's favorite, really. And yeah, in general, after maybe a bit weak of a first session there for the Juventus Racing team, someone like Baki might well be able to shake up the order this time. As I have heard good things about him with in connection to the Spa-Francorchamps track, as he's now making his way into that last sector for the first time. And yeah, we'll be starting the lap first, so I feel like it could be a really interesting prospect here for the session, and yeah, maybe even a bit of a dark horse though for one of the top positions.
Yeah, definitely so. Hadrick, by the way, has put in a very nice comment about me, saying, "James, you are beautiful." Not mentioning you, Alex, not at all. Just says I'm beautiful. There we are. Hadrick, by the way, is not in a relationship with me. I'm in a 7.5-year relationship with my girlfriend, and I'm very happy, so thank you very much. Back on the front, down in towards the right-hander of turn number 1. Absolutely obliterates the breaking point of turn number 1 through La Source. On the run down the hill, though, in towards everyone's favourite corners out on track. That's a Rouge, and that's Radion actually at the top of the hill, through the left-hand return number 3, now through the right-hand return number 4, through Kemmel corner, on the run down the Kemmel straight, now Dutch corner on the left-hand side, and Baki through the first sector. It's going to be around a 30.2, I think, in this first sector. 29.7, what am I on about? Very quick first sector from Baki, coming through Les Combes, and now coming on the exit of Les Combes, down and towards Bruxelles, of course, which is the capital of Belgium, of course, in the French terms, in Bruxelles, with an X in it, of course, Brussels as we know it in the UK and in many other languages as well. Brussels, of course, being that corner. Through No Name, through Jackie X corner, on the run now down into the left-hander of Pouon. Very, very decent corner, of course, on the track. Pouon can catch people out, especially if you ride over the outside curve. That was nice, though, from Baki. He has got a roundabout, half of his EOS left, which is very concerning, I think, for the last part coming in towards Blanchimont, certainly. Now through the Fania chicane, in towards the right-hander of Campos corner, and then in towards Stavolo at the right-hander at the end of the middle sector. 15.3 in the middle sector is not too bad whatsoever, as it now comes through in towards the final couple of corners through this very fast section, in excess of 200 miles an hour on the run in towards Blanchimont. Catch the curb on the left hand side, you lose a bit of speed, but Baki avoids that curb very nicely. Looked a neat lap. It's going to be around a 143, I think, on this lap as he comes in towards the breaking point of the bus stop chicane. Many different variations over its years. Baki to the line, 143.6 to start off the night. Not a bad lap.
Indeed, that's probably bang on with your prediction there. 44.0 now for Steve, who slots into second with Twist now in third, but on the medium compound tire. So this is some very varying approaches there. As Bradders again tops the session for the moment, 2/10 clear of his teammate there in the Alpine. And yeah, there's certainly still going to be some great laps coming. Bunty there, 45.000. QRT Max now, 3/10 clear of anyone again, setting that super strong banker. So yeah, he'll be another one to look out for again.
Definitely so. Yeah, Max out on top, 43.1, of course, part of Juventus Racing. Currently, take a photo, it'll probably last longer. Max Brothers Baki, currently the top 3. Anybody to try and break that, though. Kaversky is on a good lap here. He's on the run toward the line, and he is going to break, unfortunately, the Juventus 1-2-3. So if you didn't take a photo, unlucky. 143.4. This is why you've got the stream. You can screenshot it. Max out on top, Kaversky in second. Brothers in third, Baki there in fourth. Dara Smith, by the way, on a sort of medium compound tyres, 143.9. 8/10 off Max, like he was, of course, in America. And Dara Smith, I know for a fact is quick around here, because I think he qualified third in TML once around here, and then went on, I believe, to DNF in that sprint race, which is not good.
I mean, that's not the situation you want, at least this time. You know, we don't have a race to worry about, but on the other hand, in this particular situation, of course, it is really, really crucial to be fast there over one lap. What have you seen over there? I haven't had a look at that.
Florian spinning at turn number 1 at La Source. His car was going very slow. In fact, actually, his car is going so far off, it was going into the wall there. I wonder if he's had a wheel disconnection, potentially.
Let's have a look now through this Orange Radion section. Well,
he's fine there.
It seemed fine, yes, but of course, that if that was to be true, then there's quite the hit on the confidence side. So, of course, really not ideal there. I believe El Shaikh, no, he's on an invalid lap. I believe they're on the exit of Puan, or towards that middle part. It's quite easy to just dip away off the track limits, as that is a 360 on the exit of the Fania chicane. Now having to let through a AlphaTauri car there in VR Jet. Let's have a look now at his middle sector, but that doesn't look a strong lap time. Indeed, yeah, it is an in-lap.
And Florian, by the way, has just gone for spin again. So I think that point about me and wheel disconnect, probably not on. And actually, he nearly got beached on the grass on the left-hand side coming out of Jackie Ick's corner. And the Aston Martin, who on earth is that? I think that was Victor, who has just spun and has done a reset to track as well, which I do not believe is allowed. Victor has just spun, coming out of Ick's corner, catching quite a lot of drivers out. I have a feeling it's because they're very cold tyres on the outlap, which is why they've got to try and warm it up.
I mean, let's have a look. I believe damage is turned off probably for these sessions. So, of course, at least not that. That's not something to worry about. But indeed, cold tyres on an outlap, and particularly in such a corner where, you know, you wouldn't necessarily think traction is such a problem, but it really can be in this case, as obviously Victor has been caught out. Yeah, it's a really tough area to get right. Now he's got a bit, a bit of extra temperature. That's not really the argument, is it? It's more that he's got the extra wear that's from that spin. At least recovered some of it by resetting to track, which is not what we would like to see. But I mean, yeah, we'll have to see what kind of action we'll be taking against that. Now Victor starting his lap time in that Aston Martin car. QRT currently in 5th and 9th with Daragov Smith and Twist. But now out of the pit lane at sea, that is a bit too late, if anything, for a slipstream. So a bit unfortunate there for Victor. He's now making his way up Eau Rouge and Radion and onto this Kemmel Straight. Now let's see that first sector timing. This is, of course, an important lap. The banker lap for himself, 9 minutes into the session. He's going to have to get something down. That delta will really start that chain of improvements, really, if you do get it right. 29.9, however, in the first sector is not the best sector time at the moment. So let's have a look now through this middle sector. It's going to be certainly a lap of full commitment, but later down the line in this session it's going to be even more off. That is a rear end loss, yeah, in the middle of Jackie Ick's corner, which, by the way, until this stream I didn't know was actually called Jackie Ick's corner now. So the more you know, I suppose.
Yeah, formerly I think it was No Name, and then it got renamed Jackie Ick's Corner, famously, of course, after Jackie Ick's Formula 1 driver. Don't know when it got renamed. It got renamed recently, though, I think.
Well, I believe it just got named in the first place because it was just infamous for not having a name, so people just jumped onto that and said, yeah, this is No Name Corner now. Turn 9 in my books, by the way. But, yeah, that's, of course, Jackie Ick's big Belgian racing legend, and yeah, it's certainly carrying over this legend onto the Spa-Francorchamps track, as now Victor, of course, invalid. Will he complete that lap? No, he won't, into the pit lane. Probably the smartest decision in this case, yeah.
Leighton's also invalidating on his lap as well, 118.6 it was through the middle sector. By the way, it was because it was formerly known as No Name. It got changed, though, to Jackie Ick's Corner in 2022 after they resurfaced the track and they named it Turn 11. They named it Turn 11. They named it Jackie Ick's Corner Turn 11. There you go.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's interesting. I mean, Spa has always had some kind of little controversy about which
goodness me!
Which.
Sorry to cut you off, Alex. Dennis!
I've just seen that.
Dennis has just gone for a right smash into the pit wall. Luckily there's no damage, and he's got away with it, but if there was damage, I think that would have been game over.
Is this some kind of advanced wall riding strategy now to get into the pit lane quick? I doubt it, to be honest, but you never know with these drivers. They will always find some way, as that is a Mercedes currently going slow in the middle sector, but that could just be to let the Alfa Romeo Boompia through, who is currently on a fast lap. Yes, indeed.
Ooh! And Kveski was through on his first sector, and he's just lost it mid-corner, coming to the exit of Les Combes. So Kveski has now gone for a spin. He was slightly down on his first sector. It was about 200, I think, down on his first sector. But Kveski there, in second position, still looking to try and get a lap time in. Obviously invalidated, coming on the right-hand side corner on the exit of Les Combes chicane. Unfortunately for Kveski, he ended up spinning as well. And Twist has just gone third.
Oh, indeed, yeah. It's a little flew under the radar there a little bit, the QRT driver, but indeed, P3 with a 43.4. Of course, you do expect the gaps to be a little bit bigger here. Such a long track, so
that was on a good lap.
What's that?
That was on a good lap.
Yeah.
Second.
Oh, P2 there, indeed. So I was just having a look at Boompia there, who was also finishing his lap. It's, just up to P8. It was a 3/10 improvement, but only one position, so that just shows. Of course, still 6 drivers without a lap time at the moment, but it's certainly still really tough to get a top lap time in here. I believe Spa will actually also feature in PSGLs. This is partly practice, if you will. So these drivers will all be pushing to their max. Of course, the ones that are competing in PSGL too, and right now there doesn't seem to be too many drivers on timed laps. As I believe Bunty right now through the middle sector in that McLaren is one of the first. Just extends there through Pouon. So that is one more lap unfortunately gone then, and won't be recorded in this session.
Yeah, definitely not. Yeah, Belgium is round 8 in the PSGL calendar. It's coming up in 2 weeks' time. My favourite track is before that, though. It's Portimao, and just while we're at it, because we're just self-promoting on PSGL, on League Racing TV, we may as well self-promote PSGL as well. You can tune in. F2, PSGL, PS, 7 PM UK time, myself and Evan Dalton taking to the action. Alex, you can go on with your self-promo now.
Yeah, that's a bit difficult, because in fact F7 is unfortunately not broadcasted, so...
Terrible.
That is unfortunate. That's just a bit underwhelming, really, isn't it? Just follow my Twitter account, I suppose, for any kinds of updates on said races. NLR_AlexTheG. There you go.
Do a bit of self-promotion. Do a bit of self-promotion, by the way, in the chat. If you've got any team accounts for your teams and you want us to follow them, of course, for on League Racing TV, and indeed for other people to follow your teams as well, put it in the comment section. Put it in the comment section, because it'll be a great way to actually get a little bit of community together. A bit of League Racing, of course, doesn't go any wrong, but if you follow each other's teams as well, I think it's a really good way to introduce yourself to new people, introduce yourself to new members of the community. It's like a little plan that we've got here. We're just self-promoting all of these teams. So put your, if you've got team accounts, put them in the Twitter accounts, put them in the comment section, and you might just get a follow off me. There you go.
I'm going straight into the comments now to check up on that.
Roddy, by the way, saying in the chat, is it crossplay? No, it is not crossplay. Unlike other events that you might have seen, the 24 Hours of F1 being the main one, of course. No, this is not crossplay. It is just PS4 and PS5 based only, which I think is good because A, we don't get any screw-ups with PC guys ruining us, and B, of course, we get to showcase the best of the drivers and the best of the teams on the PS platform.
Yes, and that is always really exciting here. There are, of course, some teams that, of course, aren't featuring, but in the end, we still have a really top-class selection. Of course, the top 2 already qualified with FBR and NLR already qualified for this, but the top team of this session will also join these other, what will that be? Let me quickly count this, 7 teams. Will join these 7 teams in EML Premier 1. That's momentary lapse there, I apologize for that. Yes, indeed, that's really exciting to look for. So that is the slipstream attempt, I believe, from Boompia, which is not going to plan, I don't think. That is, it's a pretty early slipstream there for Nathan. Still a 29.7 through the first sector, which is purple on his stream, but I think we have seen faster in this session already. So have a look now into the Bruxelles corner. A really awkward downhill right hairpin. Really, really difficult. Now, edges that inside curb slightly. Don't really want to be doing that. Now misses this curb. But it does still look like a pretty solid lap. Now through Puon, there's no fixed reference here to turn into properly. But after all, yeah, this just all really depends on feeling and how well the drivers can get into this flow. The Vanya chicane, he goes and takes that very, very aggressively there on the inside now through Campus and onto Stavolo. There are some more drivers stopped, and that looks like another slipstream, though. But yeah, that was not very well coordinated, unfortunately, by Seed. So, yeah, it probably stays with that half slipstream down the Camel Straight for Nathan. And let's see what kind of lap time he can muster up. Now, hopefully no traffic in this busted up chicane. There are some slow cars there. It looks like he's just going to be getting away with that, yeah. So, onto this final DRS zone. CRL Nathan for the IRT team P8, but really, really close in that middle pack.
Really close to that middle pack as well. While we are throwing links, by the way, in the chat, at TTG_head, if you do want to follow me on Twitter, and at NLR_AlexTheG on Twitter, I believe, as well.
Correct, yes. It is, in the end, it is us after all, so we do have to appreciate this slightly. Now, Seeb is getting the favor from Nathan, which unfortunately didn't work out too well earlier for Nathan himself, but Seeb is not improving in this first sector, so didn't work out too well probably in these corners ahead. Now, yeah, unfortunately cut across the Malmedy, I think right under Malmedy that is.
Yep.
And yeah, that is unfortunately another lap gone, but still, I believe, yeah, around 12 seconds to go in this session. So some time for the drivers to improve still. And 4 drivers still without a lap time on the board. So that's just really curious to see as to why that is the case.
Twisted, by the way, sorry to cut you off, Twisted on a really good lap, actually. He's a 10th up through the middle sector. He's coming through the bus stop chicane at the final corner on the run toward the line and goes second ahead of Dara Smith, who's also on a lap and is 200ths down out of the first sector. So we'll see what Dara is on. Actually, Dara's not on a valid lap. He must have made a mistake somewhere in the middle sector, so Dara Smith not on a valid lap. Brothers, though, I believe, is. He's coming through Blanchimont, of course, for Juventus Racing, who've still got Max on that top spot, the 143.1. Currently Lobby 2, rule the roost over Lobby 1 at this stage. Hopefully somebody just bangs in a 42.8 and has done with it. But Brothers now on the run toward the line. Nearly actually does do that, but a 43.2 in the end, goes second. Not a bad lap at all, and Max is just preparing up for his lap in that final sector.
Indeed, the man in the Mercedes still topping this all with his banker lap. I mean, again, like in the last session there, topping the session with a banker lap. I mean, that is a really impressive feat, but how well can he follow it up now?
Hein makes a mistake, just right on board with him. He was coming through the middle sector at Jackie X corner, or the corner before Bruxelles. He's just gone, I think, too much on the curb on the outside. Spun into the wall. Luckily, of course, no damage on, no front wing, what would have been, I think, right side end plate damage. But he has taken a braking marker board away, which is probably not good news for the BNLRE team. I think need any help they can get, I think, at this point. With this check there down in 14th. Tony not got a lap in this stage. Dennis is on a lap, though. And literally, as soon as I said that, he's gone for full 180.
That's unlucky timing if we've ever seen some. My word. He's around there in the middle part between Fania and the campus corner. It's also a really, really simple mistake that makes the... just saves that from spinning, actually, on that curb. Really tight stuff. I'm just seeing QRT Max with a 29.6 first sector and a low 29.6 as well. So that's definitely fastest we've seen so far. Almost 3/10 up on that first sector time, so it's looking really good. It's big slide on the entry to Puon, and still negotiated pretty well. Now the start of this entry curve is what you really want to be aiming for as a reference point. Now taking a lot of this inside curve. Oh wow, that looks super committed. He's got the Alpine ahead, so that looks like another slipstream attempt there on this lap. Almost 3/10 up, 14.8. This is looking like a super lap from QRT Max. He's going well into the 42s at this rate, and now with a massive tow from Bradis ahead, this is looking extremely promising for the Austrian. And wow, this is beautifully executed so far. Now into this bus stop chicane. Can he get this apex right? It looks very clean
Beautiful.
from our side. And now this is going to be an
42.6.
incredible lap time. QRT Max. What a
Ooh.
lap. 42.7. Wow.
Really close to my prediction there for 42.6, but Max now out on top. That now just blows, I think, everything that we have just said potentially in this session completely out the water. That was a special lap for Max. Yes, he got that slipstream. Yes, he gained another 0.3 per second because of that. And if that was in traditional league racing, of course, slipstream probably would be banned. And Max probably wouldn't have set a 42.7, but still, in this qualifying event, a very good lap indeed. I saw a comment a little bit earlier on. Keki, by the way. Tater in response. Keki is in response has said, format is trying to go as fast as possible. Yes, that is very true. But the format of the event is 3 drivers, 1 team each. 18 drivers obviously in the lobby, so 3 teams for each team. 3 drivers, I should say, for each team. And then the 3 lap times that these drivers set, the best lap times that these drivers set, is combined to form an average score both across Belgium and the United States, which we've already had, and therefore those 2 lap times, those average 2 lap times get added up, they form a time, they go on the leaderboard, same with Lobby 2, exactly the same happens there. Hopefully that was clear enough.
Yeah, I think, well, you probably couldn't have explained that in more detail, so realistically, this is, of course, everything counted together and then forming this average is going to decide who's taking this final spot in EML Premier 1 next season. And then Premier 2 will be, oof, it's really wide there for Toyn in that Puon corner. Somehow gets away with it. But, yeah, this is obviously going to be decisive of which teams are going to be taking part in Premier 2 in the end. And, of course, who's taking up that probably unwanted reserve spot. But, yeah, this is just inevitable, really, as to which spot every team gets to take up. Toyn there for 16-4.
Oh my god! Oh! Dara Smith! How on earth has he recovered that? I do not know. He's gone riding on the sausage curb Tony Hawk style coming out of the source at turn number 1. My goodness me! That was actually insane from Dara. It's still valid as well, which is beyond belief. But Dara, so snappy coming out of turn number 1. His car literally rode the sausage curb like he was riding a bull, and Dara Smith obviously not going to be getting a valid lap time in, but that was probably one of the best saves I think I've ever seen.
Well, starting the year off on the right foot, I would like to say to that, oh my, I mean, Dara Smith, we know he's a driver of tremendous skill, and yeah, this just proved it one more time. It's incredible. I mean, maybe not in the way you would have wanted, but I mean, it's just paying homage to some of the greats that have been out and about in this world. So now he's, I suppose, just warming up for another lap. But Berto, he's gonna have to regain his cool after that big moment.
I still can't get over that. That was unbelievable. T, by the way, went 4th, which is a very good lap time from him. Kaveski as well on a lap. He's going to be a slipstream down the straight. Hopefully he's going to be well judged this time around. 29.7 though in the first sector. Very late call to go out of the slipstream as well. And that is going to add up to a really good lap, I think, from Kaveski. This is now down to him for the majority of this lap now. Possibly until he gets to Stavolo on the road towards Blanchemont, of course, where he might get more slipstream from his other teammate. But Kaveski now coming through Jackie X corner at turn number 11. Of course, reprofile, resurfaced, of course. Now into the left-hander of turn number 12 at Puon. This is looking quite good so far from Kaveski. He misses the curb massively, though, coming out of Puon. Really has to judge and has to correct himself in terms of the steering. That has lost him a great deal of speed. He's now all over the place in the middle sector.
Yeah, it's looking a bit scruffy there. Wow, how's he got away with that? I'm pretty sure it was off the road there with the left rear corner. Massive slide. Wow, he's held it, first of all, and secondly, he's about 5/1000ths up, I believe, on the top time right now. But yeah, that slipstream, of course, was not as effective. He's already out of that, so I don't think he'll be dropping the top positions too much. But even still, despite massive moments on that lap, he might still be looking for something good. I think he might well be a shout for the top 3 if he manages to hold this together well enough. Crosses the line, only P6. That is a minor improvement for what we've seen earlier.
I think that slipstream. I think actually, Hein, I think it was his teammate. He actually tried to give the slipstream. He ended up giving it, I think, to Izchake, who was just improved. Oh, and he's actually gone spinning actually in the middle sector. Izchake. He gave somebody a slipstream. I think it might have been Dennis, if I'm not mistaken. It was a Williams certainly, and he gave the wrong person slipstream. Didn't react, then reacted, and then realised that Kaversky was coming, and then it was too late, and they didn't have the slipstream.
Yeah, that's most likely what happened there, to be honest, because, I mean, that Williams was in the way in a really, really awkward fashion. Definitely ruined or crossed their plans, let's say, of making that slipstream work properly. Hein now still hasn't set a lap, so this is really all or nothing on this lap for the VR driver. And else that would be a pretty big disappointment if he weren't able to get a lap time in. Same goes still for Dennis, who... well, despite that, Curiosity still hasn't set a lap time, and Florian as well, who's just on his out lap. That will also have to be a one lap for everything, really. As, yeah, through this middle sector now, Hein, through the Fanya corner and into Campus and Stavilo. This is, well, a solid lap time, I would say, 15.1. It's not one of those top times you'd see across this session. As Barky has been disqualified. Oh, that is another spanner thrown into the works. I'm not too sure about the disqualifications, in all honesty.
And that, I think, is going to bring Juventus Racing now out of the frame with QRT as well. And QRT, Max and Brothers are first and third. One of their drivers, though, for Juventus has just been disqualified. Hein, by the way, I think is going his Izchake area. Yeah, he does. 43.6 on this lap time. So good lap from him there for the VER team, who are probably going to be, I think, middle of the road in terms of the performances. Certainly going to be a very good mid-team, I think, in Premier 2. Victor on a lap as well. QRT now have got to rely on Victor, I think, to certainly put in a good lap. They've got Twist currently there in second, Dara there in fifth. This is now all on the Swede to try and perform. This is the Aston Martin's time to shine, and if he doesn't shine, this is going to be absolutely decisive in terms of Juventus Racing, because I believe, I saw a comment a little bit earlier on, it was only a tenth of a second in it between Juventus and QRT, and with that disqualification, that now brings Victor completely into play.
Yes, indeed it does. I mean, look at the commitment now through this first and start of the middle sector. Looking like a strong start to the lap for the Aston Martin, but can he keep it together? That's the thing. Currently in P10, so just on the edge of the top 10 by 1/1000, in fact, to Boompia just realized. And Victor having to put the foot flat to the floor to get the fastest lap time in possible here. That disqualification for JR is really going to hurt them, I think, in the end of this. As Victor now through Fanya again into Campus. Such crucial corner now to get a good exit onto this straight. Really tight on the track limits, but a 15-0.
Oh my god!
Oh, massive moment over the exit curve. Oh my, how has he got away with that?
I'm actually in a gasp. That is unbelievable. How on earth did he save that? The wall was literally inches away on the left-hand side. Victor is so committed. Nearly crashing his lap, but he's absolutely butchered the bus stop chicane and toward the braking point there. Coming through 18 and 19 on the run slide. I think he's still improving. He does. He goes 3 tenths quicker, even though he has nearly ended up in the wall. And if Victor didn't do that, he would have been ahead of Kaversky. He might have even been ahead of Seben Dara.
I think that would have been a big possibility, yes. That massive moment in the middle sector. That's really what's going to come down to now. Sieb starting the lap for IRT. Currently in 4th, so definitely their strongest performer. But can he keep up this form? And can his teammates offer the support?
Max, I'm just running on board with through the first sector as well. He just nearly lost it coming out of the Lecom chicane through Malmedy, and he's now really going for this lap. He realised that Victor didn't improve as much as possible. He now needs to eke out as much time as possible. He is the first man, I believe, to come across the line on a lap. I think Toyn is further ahead out on track as well, 45.1 currently is best, so he's not really going to feature. Max, though, rides the curb, though, too much coming in toward the Fanny chicane. Dara has left the session. He's already done in terms of his lap time. Max, though, through the middle sector for the Juventus Racing team. Oh, that's a huge middle sector. 14.5 in the middle sector for Max. This is absolutely huge. This is exactly what the Juventus Racing team need.
That's the question now. How much will the slipstream make a difference here? Because he got a massive tow on that second lap. So can he still get any kind of final sector now on this lap? Oh, misses the apex, I think, slightly there. That was not the run you would have hoped for. And now on the exit of this, can Max still improve on this lap? Yes, he can. 400ths quicker though only, so losing a lot of time through not having that slipstream, but still could be decisive time gain here.
Seeb's done, Dara's done, Bradders has done as well. He's not on a lap. Seeb has certainly done. He made a mistake in the middle sector. Nathan has done.
Oh, Nathan.
Victor as well has done. Boumier is also done. He's down on his lap time. Leighton isn't. CPI really need to get their drivers up the grid here. Bunty, though, is the man that can possibly save them. He's coming into the bus stop chicane through 18, then to the left-hand of turn 19. Looking to go around Boumier, Toyne sort of area, I think, on the run to the line. And he falls short. 44.4. Leighton needs to improve ideally on this lap to get ahead of Jet. This will put VAR possibly in trouble, but Leighton to the line doesn't improve. It's 3,000th of a second between them. Nathan has backed off his lap, and that, my friends, is the end of EML Premier Qualifying Night for Lobby 1, and it is Max out on top, Twist in second, Brothers in third. If this was a league race, Max would have absolutely stolen qualifying. He didn't in the end. He absolutely obliterated the opposition. Juventus Racing, even though Baki got disqualified, I believe his best lap time will be taken. So if that is the case, then Baki, of course, and Juventus Racing might come out on top. And do you know what? If they have, I have a feeling they might have just sneaked. If no other team is doing better than them in Lobby 2, I think they might have just sneaked potentially that final spot in Premier 1.
Yes, indeed. It's now all going to come down to this calculation of the average. And, well, what an exciting prospect we've got here. The other, what was the top time again in the Lobby 2 in Spa? I believe it was a 42.8, if you said that earlier. Yeah. So, well, Max is up the ante here with a lap time 2.5 tenths clear of anybody else. But will that be enough for the JR team? It's, yeah, it's going to be really, really tough to find out. And in the end, only one spot can go to EML Premier 1 next season. And while JR are looking good, there are certainly some competitors still.
Yeah, Christian, by the way, is asking the question on everyone's mind, is the disqualification of JR will count? Yes, is the answer. It will indeed count in terms of Baki's lap time. Baki's lap time will be counted, so apologies if I was trying to lead everyone down the wrong road there. Baki's lap time will be counted before he got disqualified. So that lap time that Baki set, which I think put himself, 5th or 6th in the end in qualifying, was a 43 up there to the top end of the 43. So Baki's lap time will be counted. That means Juventus Racing, those averages just get a little bit more narrower if you're a QRT or if you're a TRS fan.
Oh, indeed. It's just, yeah, the true stuff of, nail biting and everything going on for some of these teams. Also, of course, who ends up bottom. But we'll see about that. Of course, now drivers can just leave the session, I suppose. There is nothing to do now. So,
we can as well.
Witness. I mean, well, some drivers could actually be doing the race still. But, yeah, we shall see about that. This, certainly, now is the time for the mathematics to come out of everybody. So, let's see what that's going to be like.
Well, I'm not sure. Maze will certainly tell me, like he did with Baki's lap time, whether or not we will have this on air or off air. I have a feeling it'll be more off air than on air, but I will get told, I'm sure, in due course, whether or not to stay on board and stay with the results, or we can end it off here. But you can see my lovely multiplayer screen now. We have backed out the lobby. Of course, that is the end of the qualifying night tonight, but I'm certain that everyone will want to tune in for the results if they do get released. I have a feeling all the times are being tutted up from lobby 1 and 2 for qualifying 1, which of course was in America, and in Belgium, of course, it was lobby 2. And, of course, second qualifying times, I'm sure, are being calculated down to the absolute 1,000th of a second, quite literally, and hopefully we are going to get that soon through very soon indeed. Honey Badger has said, just confirming to me, head steward of EML, they are at least 10 minutes away. They are at least 10 minutes away, so shall we stay online?
Right, well, this is a true test to our improvising talents, I suppose. So,
it is. It is. Is WO PSGL still going on?
Oh, is it actually? I might have to check.
Is it? I don't know. No, it's not. It's finished. WOR won by 30 points.
Oh my. Well, pretty thrashing performance there in the end by the green side, let's say. I was actually really excited to pick up on this a little bit because there were some drivers on the PS side particularly that I did actually race against, which is incredible to say. But yeah, of course, well, there's other commitments for me, which is obviously equally as exciting. Like, I just love to see some of these drivers throw the cars around, and since it is only quali event, love to see these drivers throw around their cars to just get them best lap time possible. And some of these drivers have really extracted some superb lap times out of their machinery, and yeah, don't you just love to see that in general? What a way to start the year off, really.
Yeah, what a year to start the way off. Certainly going to be quite close. Certainly between TRS, who I know did very well in Lobby 2. I think Brokey was putting in their lap times actually 42.8, 42.8, 43.2 were their average lap time. So I think they might have nicked it. If that is the case, and they've done well, of course, in America in Lobby 2, they should be, I think, out on top quite soon. And they are hopefully, we are hopefully going to be getting the results very soon indeed. But it does bring us to the question of improvisation skills. Hopefully there is a lot of improvisation to come, because if you missed it a little bit earlier on, we can run you through the EML calendar. And in fact, we can run you through the TML calendar as well, just to waste a little bit more time if you want to try and stay for that. So, but this was already been released, by the way, so if you do want to catch up on Twitter, all of our social medias, of course, now in the description on YouTube. I should know, because I've put every single one in there, I believe, for all of the leagues that are covered on League Racing TV. It's Bahrain round 1, next week that is, 11th of January. Then we've got Saudi Arabia on the 18th of January. Then it's Imola for the 25th of January. And what we'll do, actually, just to waste a little bit more time, is just put it into perspective from those first 3 rounds, Alex. Bahrain first, Saudi Arabia second, Imola round 3. 3 great tracks to start off EML.
Oh, definitely. I mean, first of all, we obviously get Bahrain under the lights as soon as that is finished. We also get under the lights in Jeddah. But both of these tracks, some proper racing spectacles, both with 3 DRS zones to just make this racing super, super exciting. And some really, really good passing opportunities in Bahrain are then followed up with some lovely little descriptions of flow, because Jeddah is really one of the best tracks to describe the word flow, if you will, as yeah, some super, super fast sections on that racetrack is going to really, they're going to bring out all the talent of these drivers. It's almost, I mean, it obviously is very flat, of course, but it is still almost like Spa in a way, in that it's an incredible track when you consider the flow of it. And yeah, the 3 DRS zones on that track as well are going to promote some great, great racing. And then in Imola, one of the most technical tracks on the calendar, heading to Europe next time around, is really, really exciting. Only the 1 DRS zone, so there's probably going to be a very big reliance on the grid position. Then again, at the same time, we all know what that pole position in Imola looks like. And it is, yeah, the race is definitely not won from just being on pole, and it's going to be really, really interesting to see, just from these first 3 rounds, who can get an early grasp of a championship lead, and then maybe set the tone for the season already. And then, yeah, after those first 3 rounds, we will have another exciting rounds of the calendar, which are
Spain, Austria, France. Oh, Spain and Austria before the break week. After the break week, it is France. Then it's the Netherlands, Singapore, USA, and then Brazil. And I have been informed that the results are going to take ages. So we are luckily going to start it off for everyone.
Right, but you're just going to have to endure our voices a little bit longer. But I'm sure you won't mind that.
It's fine. No, we can sign it off. We can sign it off. I've been told to sign it off, as it is going to take a lot longer than 10 minutes. So if you do want to catch the results, I'm certain they're going to be released in the EML Discord, and they are going to be released as well on @esports Masters League, or @EML_F1 on Twitter if you do want to catch the results, of course, from both Lobby 1 and Lobby 2. See who's qualified for what tier. If not, you'll probably see me retweeting it. You'll probably see Alex retweeting it as well. So you will get completely up to date in terms of what is going to be happening for Lobby 1 and indeed for Lobby 2. Looking through some of the comments that have been coming in, Keki was saying, is there only one team coming to Prem 1 from this qualifying? Yes, there is. Only one position, joining 9 teams, including the likes of FBR, who I'm very excited, of course, to actually introduce in. Team Shazoo, I believe, are competing this season in the EML Premier 1, so it is going to be fantastic. And of course, next week is when all the action is going to start. Myself and Alex are going to be taking to the action, of course, for EML Premier 1, and then it's Leslie and Mike, I believe, again, for Lobby 2, for Premier 2, which is going to be happening, of course, same time, same place, Wednesday, 8 PM UK time. Get it marked in your diaries, get it marked on your iPad or on your tablet or whatever mobile device you might have these days, and tune in, of course, for the best commentary, for the best league racing, and hopefully the best teams on the PS platform as well, doing battle in both EML 1 and 2. Xenox saying who won? We don't know. We don't know. We're just making it up as we go along. I could say Team Shazoo won it, but they didn't even compete, so I don't think it was them. And
it's
Monkey's,
anyone's guess.
it could be anyone's guess. It could be indeed. And Monkey saying Monkey saying in the chat, what is the Twitter? All of our links are in the description of this very video. So the EML Twitter link, I believe, is there. Yep, it's under... We've got the Masters League, and then it's Esports Masters League. The Twitter and the Discord link is both in there as well. So if you do want to join the Discord, catch up with everything indeed in terms of EML. There's also VOS there and the BIEC F1 Championship that has been held recently, British and Irish Esports Championship. All of the links are on there. Twitter, you can follow us, of course, on Twitter. And actually, I'm going to probably change that description to include the commentary team for this season for EML and EML and TML as well, which is going to be very exciting indeed. We're waffling on as always. We're probably going to end it off here. Thank you so much for watching, and until next week in Bahrain, goodbye.
Goodbye.